This is Bishop Dr. Truman Berst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.
So let's get into it. There's a lot of things going on all the time. There's so many people coming to me here, especially with diabetes. It's beginning to be like every fourth or fifth person that's coming to me is wants to talk about diabetes, and there are people now that are getting good results, that have gotten good results with the diabetes information. So if you know somebody with diabetes, have them contact us. We're getting great results, and they can't find the diabetes anymore. So if you know somebody who has diabetes, let them know that give him our phone number here. And our phone number, welcome there in Pike Road, Alabama. Thank you for joining us. That would be one of our favorite guests and friends. That would be Prophet Elijah Beecham out there in Pike Road, Alabama at the Word of Life Ministry in Pike Road, Alabama. And thank you for joining us. We've got quite a few people in the room today, and I, if you've got a question or a topic or something, and very often, Prophet Elijah Beecham, because he's well schooled as well in natural remedies. A lot of people don't know that, but he is. He's well schooled in the use of natural remedies, and but anyway, what I'm saying is, if you're ever in the Pike Road, Alabama area, be sure and look up Prophet Elijah Beecham, and I'll give you his phone number because he's just a great and wonderful person that you should be. It's always nice to meet really good people. So I'm going to give you his phone number. 334-868-3881. That's Prophet Elijah Beecham in Pike Road, Alabama. Give him a call. He's a very wonderful gentleman to meet and to chat with and to pray with. 334-868-3881. Okay, so it's one of the wonderful things about what we're doing here is at the very end of the broadcast, Prophet Elijah Beecham will end the broadcast for us in one of his wonderful closing prayers. So look forward to that. I always do. And now we're looking at folks there in Texas and California and Georgia and Louisiana and welcome and Indiana, welcome all the folks and of course one of our favorite friends that drops in all the time. Her name is Audrey. Thank you for joining us. It's always nice to see returning people, coming back and sharing this information with their friends that can join us as well. So one of the things that we have been talking about a lot lately is diabetes. I mentioned that. And and it has a lot of complications. So it's not easy. But when you know all the complications and you can put out all the fires at the same time, diabetes disappears in 3 to 6 weeks. But a lot of things get better, when you approach it, number one, with prayer and thanksgiving, and number two, you're looking at the natural remedies. And it's always nice to have a coach, someone who will walk you through how to do it, what to use, and if there's complications, be there for you to make sure that we can untangle any complications as we go along. It's always nice to have a coach. So I coach people, and if you need a coach, I ask that you sow into our ministry so that we can keep going, so that we can keep helping many people who can't give me a donation, so that I can keep this ministry going, but they need help. And we're not going to turn our back on them. I never have, and it's gotten me in financial troubles very often in my life, and I admit that. But that's why I have a system in place where I will coach people and ask for $100 one time to be their coach. And I don't think that's a lot to ask someone for coaching you from the beginning of diabetes to the end of diabetes for maybe a couple of months, making sure that everything's fine. For $100, I don't think that's too much to ask. I mean, these doctors are asking you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it if you gave them $1 million. They still couldn't cure diabetes. So that's why I ask. Whatever the health disorder that you have, your friends have, your loved ones have, I'll be your personal coach. And you can call me over and over and over again, because I'll be there for you. And so know that you can do that. You can call me, and my telephone number is 503-362-5899. That's 503-362-5899. That's the telephone number to call if you'd like me to be your coach, or if you just have a question, or maybe you want to know something. I'm glad to help. The telephone number to call me is 503-362-5899. And that reaches me over my computer wherever I am. Right now I'm in Jamaica, and that's a USA telephone number. So if you can call any USA telephone number, that's the telephone number, and it would be free then for you, I would suppose. 503-362-5899. Call me. I will be your coach, and make sure that you get your questions answered on your road to health. Now, we don't have a topic yet today. No one has suggested a topic. So, if that's what's going to go on, let me see if I can look at. I was trying to look at one of the bookmarks, and let's see if I can do that. Not easy to do on there. So, apps. I don't see it there. Let's go over here and see if I can find a bookmark and find something interesting that we can talk about. Let's go take a look at a few. Okay. All right. Here's a topic. One of my favorite topics. Talking about. Talking about the FDA, because they're the bad guys. They claim to be the good guys, but we know they're the bad guys. They work for the trillion-dollar pharmaceutical industry. And the fact is, the FDA is killing people with their rules. Their rules are not for everyone. Their rules are for them, and their rules are for the pharmaceutical industry. That's what they're for. They pretend to be for the people, but that's not the case. Otherwise, you wouldn't see all these pharmaceutical drugs being in court with litigation against them for harming people. So anyway, this is a little thing that came to me, and it's overcoming FDA bureaucracy and saving lives with the expanded right to try, by Dan Mitchell. And he goes on to say that he's lucky that when he thinks how the government regulation impacts his life. He says his list contains minor nuisances such as inferior light bulbs, standard toilets, second-rate dishwashers, weak flow shower heads, and inadequate washing machines. Kind of an interesting take. But anyway, he goes on. And one of the things that he's talking about is the problem with the FDA. The problem with the FDA, is that once a drug is approved for any use, it may be used in any way doctors and users see fit. That's unregulated. Anyway, approved drugs are often found to have other benefits, and doctors learn to prescribe those drugs for such off-label uses. That's the term they use, off-label use. And although off-label uses of drugs have absolutely no standing with or approval by the FDA, they are perfectly legal. And do patients and doctors, they do. Do patients and doctors shrink in fear from uses not certified by the FDA? Absolutely not. Off-label prescribing is pervasive and vital to the health of millions of Americans. As economist Alexander Tabarrok says, most hospital patients are given drugs which are not FDA approved for the prescribed use that they're giving them for. Off-label prescriptions are especially common for AIDS, cancer, and pediatric patients, but are standard practice throughout medicine. Conferences, seminars, internet sources, and trusted colleagues. Scientists and doctors working through professional associations and organizations make official determinations of best practice and certify off-label uses in standard reference compendia, such as the AMA drug evaluations, American Hospital Formulary, Service Drug Information, and U.S. Pharmacopoeia and drug information, all without FDA meddling or restriction. Think about what this means. Countless Americans are taking medications and benefiting from those drugs, yet the FDA bureaucracy has never given its stamp of approval, which raises an interesting issue. No one would be foolish enough to suggest that the FDA prohibit off-label prescribing, but there is a logical inconsistency in allowing off-label prescribing and requiring proof of efficacy for drugs' initial use. Logical consistency would require that one either oppose off-label uses and favor initial proof of efficacy, or favor off-label prescribing and oppose initial proof efficacy. Wow. By the way, just in case you think an old fee article somehow isn't enough proof, check out some of the research that is cited in the Wikipedia page for off-label use. And as of this morning, it goes like, off-label use is very common. Up to 1/5 of all drugs are prescribed off-label, and amongst psychiatric drugs, let me take this call. Hello, who's calling, please?
This is Milton. How you doing, Mr. Truman?
Yes, Milton, I'm in the middle of the Thursday international broadcast.
I'm sorry.
Would you like to join us?
I'm on Mom's phone, so we'll cut in and out, but I'll try to call you back in about another half hour.
Very good, brother. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's Brother Milton, and we'll help him after the broadcast. I have many people that I coach personally, and Milton is one of them. Now, what we're talking about here is off-label use is very common. Up to 1/5 of all drugs are prescribed off-label. And amongst psychiatric drugs, off-label use rises to 31%. A third of all use of psychiatric drugs are not approved by the FDA. They're off-label use. A 2009 study found that 62% of the pediatric office visits from 2001 to 2004, we're talking about babies here, included off-label prescribing, with younger children having a higher chance of receiving off-label prescriptions. Specialist physicians also prescribed off-label more frequently than general pediatricians. Some drugs are used more frequently off-label than their original approved indications. They're used more often off-label than for their original approved indications. What kind of FDA management is that? Anyway, a 1991 study by the U.S. General Accounting Office found that 1/3 of all drug administrations to cancer patients were off-label, and more than half of cancer patients received at least one drug for an off-label indication. A 1997 survey of over 200 cancer physicians by the American Enterprise Institute and the American Cancer Society found that 60% of them prescribed drugs off-label. The bottom line is that we have rampant and pervasive drug use that is outside the FDA's control, and they don't seem to care. Nobody said anything about it. Yet, that isn't leading to horrible consequences or even bad consequences. It's It's teaching us that risk-averse bureaucrats are putting millions of lives at risk because they say you can't have this and you can't do that, but yet they just turn a blank stare at off-label use. They're selectively putting millions of lives at risk that can't avail themselves to what they want, or what their doctor really wants, would like to give them, maybe. By delaying the approval of new drugs, not just at risk. Don't forget the research that was cited last year that was estimating that the deadly impact of FDA regulation. The FDA is better at over-regulating natural remedies, which then they run around saying, and everybody is saying, oh, vitamins aren't regulated. They are the most over-regulated by the most evil agency in the federal government. Vitamins, minerals, supplements. Matter of fact, they blatantly destroy vitamin, mineral, supplement manufacturers, distributors, and purveyors of these natural remedies. Their trick is very simple: to sit across your desk and obstruct you from making a living until you starve to death, because they got all day and you don't. You got to get out there and do your work, but you can't, because you have to sit across from the FDA and listen to them babble on as to what they want you to do next until you go out of business. That's their simple Nazi trick. Very Nazi. And that's what they do. And Americans have much more limited selection of for instance, of all types of things than Europeans, including condoms. They can't even, Europeans got a better selection of condoms than Americans do. It's really ridiculous. While the regulatory burden in the United States is stifling, and there are some really inane examples of silly rules, such as the ones that are pervasive by the FDA, as well as the FDA's war on vaping, and I think Greece and Japan win the record if you want to identify the most absurd and specific examples of red tape. These bureaucrats, you put them in charge of your food, your water, your air, you're going to have poison food, poison air, poison water, and you're not going to be able to get the medications or the herbs or the vitamins or the minerals freely. You're not going to be able to get it, and you're not going to be able to get the information freely about it, because it is obstructed. It is obstructed blatantly by the FDA. Anyway, I thought I'd mention that. And that was one of the things I ran into. But let's shift gears here, and let's go over and take a look at let's take a look at discoveries in health and all the ways to join the broadcast. And one of the ways is over your telephone by calling 503-606-6064, or if you're out of the country, internationally, you can when you go up on herbalhealthreview.com, herbalhealthreview.com, and you click on Discoveries in Health tab. And when you click on the Discoveries in Health tab, you'll see all the ways to join the broadcast, including the telephone number anywhere in the USA and Canada, and that's 503-606-6064. But they have another link, an international access numbers link. Maybe you know somebody who's out of the country. they can still join the broadcast over the telephone for free when they click on that uberconference.com international link. Now, also, there is joining the broadcast over your computer, smartphone, or tablet. And that is a link there, www.uberconference.com/Truman8. And the link is there, and you can click on that link, and you can join by tablet, phone, smartphone, computer, and also you can join by joining the Hangout. And let's go ahead and join the Hangout right now and bring it into the picture. And we'll bring this over here and Uber Conference. And Uber Conference is over here. Can I do that? And there we are. There's the Uber Conference. And here is the, okay, let's see if I can do that. And next. Let's see if that gets us in. I hope it should. And enter your password. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Strict. And let's see if that gets me in. I hope it does. Does it? I don't know. We're logging in to Google Hangouts, and okay, and verify now. Okay, they're gonna verify my telephone number. I will get a call. Okay, and get a code. Oh, I love these computers that you get all these things that you need to do in order for them to work. And that's what I'm doing now. Is and it's going to do that. But so I'm not going to do that. It doesn't. I'm going to cancel that. And email, no. And verify. Let's try that. This should be quick. And if I was able to go up here, where would I go? Okay. All right, so I'm out of there. And I'm going back over to the report because I can't get in. It's not letting me in. And so this was, an interesting thing, and how the FDA has their way of working and taking billions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry and impeding and obstructing your availability to get natural remedies. It's an evil thing that they do. So let's get back over here and let's choose another topic and let's get something else going, because I was trying to load up the Google Hangouts. It made it difficult to do that, and so I'm moving on out of there, and I'm also opening up another window so that we can get back over to herbalhealthreview.com and have both windows open at the same time. You don't have there we go. There we've got Herbal Health Review coming up into the window here. So I'm making a screen capture video, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the herbal. Everything is going rather slowly here today. My computer is working as hard as it can. I'm just pedaling its feet just as fast as it can go, and it's still kind of going slow because I have so many applications up and running. Now we're getting there. Now we're going over to common conditions. I don't know. So we can take a look at the common conditions reports while we also have the room open. And again, if you press your star key 2 times, you can open your microphone. Press your star key 2 times, you can open your microphone and ask a question or make a comment. Computer is working rather slowly today. And that's good. All right. Okay. Had to close the door. We have a lot of outside noise going on. And the computer is working so slow. But I am here now. I'm in common conditions, and I'm going to pick out a report as soon as it loads itself up here. There's just not enough memory to do all the things that I want to do at the same time. So, interestingly enough, stay with us. We're waiting for the computer to come up, and now it is coming up. You know, we've talked about a lot of things, and recently we talked about acidosis, because that is a major problem with a lot of people. Indigestion, acidosis. And so that report is soon to be published on herbalhealthreview.com on the under Discoveries in Health, under the Discoveries in Health tab, and all the way at the bottom, you'll see that acidosis report. It's one of the newer ones that will be published soon. But we've talked about a lot of things over the years, and one of the things that that keep coming up is Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. So let's go visit Parkinson's disease and make that a topic today, since we don't have anyone asking for a particular topic. Let's make that one of the topics that we want to visit today. So when we're talking about Parkinson's disease, one of the things that we do in Parkinson's disease, because a lot of times there is a bleeding disorder that is associated. So whenever there's a bleeding disorder, we look at an herb called shepherd's purse and take 30 to 60 drops under the tongue, maybe with a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne, as needed to stop bleeding. When there's Parkinson's disease, we want to know about formulations of herbs for memory support, like a memory support formula of tincture extract. That is number 1285. It's the 185th formulation that I created. That's 1285. Memory support. And the herbs that support the memory, when you start putting those kinds of herbs together, they're going to include gotu kola to clear the mind, rosemary to clear the memory and help you to remember things, borage helps to encourage memory. Then there is is Eleutherococcus synticosus. Eleutherococcus synticosus, also known as Siberian ginseng, will give you mental stamina. So that's going to be good for Parkinson's. And licorice root is going to help with the adrenal energy, to give you some adrenal energy. And we got to make sure, though, you don't have high blood pressure, because if there's high blood pressure, no licorice root. And lobelia, or very modest, tiny amounts, and watch the blood pressure. If you're taking it in a formulation and you're only getting a little bit, it's probably okay. But if you're taking it all by itself, 30 to 60 drops, it's going to influence the blood pressure. It's going to increase blood pressure. So let's watch licorice root when there's high blood pressure. Small doses within a formula, probably all right. And in this memory stimulant formula, probably okay. So we're talking about a memory formula that includes gotu kola. It includes rosemary, borage, Eleutherococcus synticosus, also known as Siberian ginseng, licorice, lobelia, valerian, and structured water. Now that is a formulation that helps the memory, to increase the memory, so you can remember things. Rosemary, for instance, in that formula has been around for a long time, and therefore has a long list of claims regarding its medicinal uses, including use as a tonic, a digestive aid, to treat depression, rosemary for headaches and muscle cramps, and as an expectorant, a promoter of menstrual flow, and a stimulant for production of bile. And externally, that's taking it internally. Externally, rosemary oil you can put it in rosemary soap. It's been used to treat rheumatism, sores, and eczema, and bruises and wounds. So you can get a rosemary soap from the folks at Health and Herbs. They make it. And rosemary has been taken internally as a medicine and can be an irritant to the stomach, the intestines, and the kidneys. So use it sparingly. Use it very sparingly. It doesn't take much. And you can also make rosemary tea for digestive problems, mixed with borax and used cold. Is said to make a nice smelling hair wash and can possibly prevent dandruff and stimulate hair growth. And a variation of this dandruff, for dandruff, is rosemary combined with peppermint oil in vinegar. Place sprigs of it of the rosemary in a bottle with vinegar and peppermint oil. That can be tightly sealed and let it sit for at least a week, and out of direct sunlight, in the shade. And you're going to have a peppermint, vinegar, rosemary, a tonic for the hair. And there's some other information here. There's a report on WebMD about the use of rosemary. So we also have that listed here as well in this report that I'm looking at on herbalhealthreview.com. herbalhealthreview.com, under common conditions, I'm looking at Parkinson's diseases. And this is one of the things that can be used as rosemary for Parkinson's disease. And then one of the things that when there's Parkinson's disease, we want to make sure that they're getting nice bones. 3 before bedtime, and 2 in the morning, and 3 before bedtime. And we may adjust that dosage. We'll find out. how things are working. We can, always reduce it. But that is a good dose of calcium and magnesium in a multiply chelated form called nice bones. And it's listed in this report. And if I clicked on it, I could open it up in a new tab and I could be looking at it, and with all of the herbs listed in all of these reports, it's the same thing. If you click on it, you can look at it. You can see the directions, the dosage. You can order the different sizes of it. Now we're looking at, even though we're bogged down because I got too many tabs open. And anyway, there it is. Nice bones. I'm looking at it. And it gives the fact that all of the ingredients in all of the products are certified organic, kosher, or responsibly wildcrafted. No genetically modified organisms, no GMOs are involved. All other products are distributed by us to meet their high quality standards. So they really do have high quality products. And this particular calcium and magnesium it has a little bit of vitamin D, 1,000 IUs to help as the ergocalciferol, which is the correct form of vitamin D3. And the calcium is a carbonate, citrate, aspartate. It's 3 ways chelated. And the magnesium is an oxide, citrate, aspartate. Most of the time, you'll find the cheap oxide. That's it. But this is multiply chelated, and that's what you're going to find with all the products that come from Health and Herbs. That's why you don't run to you don't hear me, or look or watch me on the broadcast, and then or hear me on the broadcast and go to your health food store. You're not going to get a multiply chelated carbonate, citrate, aspartate in your health food store. They're going to have an oxide, or maybe they might have a citrate, but they're not going to have a multiply chelated, high-tech, state-of-the-art, high-quality product like you get at Health and Herbs. And their telephone number for any of the products that we're talking about here today, their telephone number at Health and Herbs is 541-791-8400. So if you wanted to talk to the nice people that make all of these products, all this high-tech, high-quality products that are the nicest people in the world, and you can talk to them and ask them questions, and they'll help you. They don't prescribe, they don't diagnose. They simply ask your question. They might make suggestions. You tell them what you're looking for and what you're trying to do. They're going to be able to make some suggestions for you.
I know food on.
We've got an open mic, and do you have a question or a comment?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Do you have a question or a comment today?
Oh yeah, this is Elder Stewart. Hey,
yes.
With this Parkinson's, what do you take for when a person has Parkinson's, but you can't hear him talking?
They just can't get what?
When a person has Parkinson's, and it seems like the first thing that their voice starts getting real low, you can't hardly hear them talking above a whisper. What do you take for maybe the voice can come back?
You're talking about their voice?
Yeah.
Well, we got to work on we're going to work on the brain and clear the mind and give them the ability to be able to think and use their voice and use their arms and their legs, because a lot of times they have no control. So we're working on the mental faculties to be able to increase their ability to control what they want to do. And as we do that, then that's when their voice can return. And it's a step-by-step process, and it's taking calcium and magnesium, so you can get some rest get some rest at night, because they can't rest. So if you're getting the right supplements, and if you're taking also potassium gluconate to help to maintain the water balance and the functioning of the nerves and the muscles, now those are the things that are going to bring back the function of voice, which will be potassium. And you're going to need to take it maybe 99 milligrams 1 to 3 times a day. We're going to need that coenzyme Q10 to oxygenate the brain and the heart and bring things back into order again, because without the heart you're not going to get enough oxygen to be able to think. And so when you're getting CoQ10 at 200 milligrams, now you're oxygenating the brain and the heart, and you're starting to be able to think again, and you're starting to be able to function and maybe even control your voice. But also you want to make sure you're taking lots of B complex. Now you'll get the best B complex from that Intramax multiple vitamin. The Intramax multiple vitamin is going to give you 415 all organic ingredients that are going to help to hook all of the things you need back up again, because these are Parkinson's is a disease that has been starved of oxygen, that doesn't have enough alpha lipoic acid in their nutrient diet.